on a hot summer day. I give you peace and blessings. Thought I'd come up on here, reach out. I hope your 4th of July was good. Made memories because you are in the midst of your summer. Oh, yeah. Jordan drinking some beer tonight. I'm going to allow you guys to come on here. I'm recording this through my phone, so I don't have the luxury of the chat. I'll review it after the fact. I've got some questions and concerns. Put them on there because I will review this in the morning because you guys are priceless. You deserve to get an answer. And you know me, I try to be punctual. But today I was working on my yard. And one of the things I realized about my yard, because it's huge, y'all. The backyard in itself it's got to be, I'd say, equivalent to a high school football field. It's huge. And even though I got a riding lawnmower, I got a manual one too. One, because I found myself that when I push the mower, it gives me an opportunity to think, especially for the things that I have to do for my occupation. It's a good stress reliever. Maybe from some of you that have plants or you have a passion on something that you immerse yourself in that. I find myself doing that with my yard, front and back. And here's the funny thing about it, because where I live at, the neighbors, bless them all, it's like when I cut my yard, because I cut it once a week, that kind of sets the tone for them. I know it's an ego pride thing, but I also know that in those homes that the spouses give a nice little elbow to the husbands and like, you better get out there and cut that yard. He already got his yard looking a certain way. You know, that's all good. That's just nothing but validation. That's all just validation that you are dedicated to your path, being yourself, being unique, investing in yourself. It has an impact indirectly. So to each his own. So how was your 4th of July? Some of us had to work. I was one of them because for those who do know my background, I'm still supporting our military. Military don't stop. So business has to be taken care of. Now you guys are gonna have to bear with me because I'm holding this phone and I'm trying to keep it prone so it's not moving around, because I want you guys to have the best quality. As my Bluetooth just died, so let me take that out my ear, because I know somebody said, well, you got your Bluetooth and I don't hear nothing, I just hear things. You're using the phone. I'm using my Samsung. But I wanted to put a video out for a couple reasons. Number one, you are in the midst of your summer. And you may not realize, but as there are 4 seasons in the calendar year, Your summer is the moment that you plant your intentions inside yourself, whatever it may be. And if you decide to do so, first of all, when it comes to investing in yourself, excuse me, you don't need anybody's permission. You don't. That's why you are unique. Always have been, always will be. And the sooner that you stay committed, the sooner your harvest will come. So this may be the moment that you decide, so you know what? I want to get back into the gym. I might want to sculpt my body a certain way. I might want to add some weight. I might want to take some weight off. I want to invest in my health. Make a commitment to it. And I guarantee you, by the midst of winter, you will be very happy in what you see. Now, I've got to be very honest with this, and this is the only way I can be. Now, say if you are going the health route, you're not going to be able to see physical change unless you record it in some fashion. May it be by photos, may it be right here by video, chronicalizing your process. But I guarantee you, as long as you have some means of chronicalizing your journey, no matter what it is, by the mid-winter, so I'm talking about that snow family, when it's cold, your payoff will be there. It's going to be there for you. Meanwhile, there are going to be plenty of people, unfortunately, they're going to be trying to knock you off of that commitment. They're going to try to distract you, and you've got to be able to see between the forest and the trees, so to speak. And that doesn't mean that you have to be a butthole, but you have to also see what is priority. That's for somebody. I got a feeling that somebody right now is contemplating a move, a transition. You've been flirting with it for a little bit, and you're thinking that that chapter is, if you decide to commit to it, because you're reluctant and you don't have all the information that you need, because even though the information that was given, you still have to do some legwork because it's going to impact yourself. Let me tell you something. If you decide to do so, these will be the moments that will yield such a reward for you. Now, here's the kicker. If you're doing it because to appease someone else, or just going with the flow, so to speak, you're not going to yield the result that you rightfully deserve. So you got to make sure that that commitment, because it is about choice, it's about free will. It's yours. And it's okay to say no. I try to convey that to the intended heart and mind all the time. Stop feeling, I'm trying to find the right words to say. Stop being fearful for using the word no. I know somebody said, well, that's just so crass, Gerald. That's, that makes you come off like you just negative. No. We're talking about your life. It's your life. So we're talking your story. Who is dictating your story better than you? I've always told people this. It is your responsibility how your story to be told. But if you don't invest in yourself, you're leaving it to those to define it. And that is such an injustice. Such. Now, I'm going to segue from that because I know my audience is very eclectic. But one thing I know that brings us together is we want to be happy. We're very intelligent and we know what we need, but we don't understand what's required to get the end result. But I would be remiss to not speak on this. Now, what you do with it is your choice because it is about free will. Listen here, family. How many examples do you have to see, to feel by default, to understand that everything that is going on in your life is based off of your spirituality? I know there's some people that say, well, Gerald, I'm not the church type. I'm not the type of person that wants to listen to somebody talk for an hour and a half because a lot of the stuff that they say I can't relate to. I haven't lived long enough to understand what the parables are. You know why? Because it's your responsibility to invest in that. See, what separates you and I when it comes... Okay, I'm back. For some reason, somebody didn't want me to hear it. Somebody didn't want me to put that out because they feel a certain kind of way. And let's be honest. You can't deny truth. And the truth of the matter is, as long as you stay distracted, you won't see or understand what you need. And the price that is paid is time, your mortality. So, what's important to you? If you're spending one day feeling compromised, or you feel that you don't understand how you feel inside because you haven't allowed yourself to be transparent, if you can't allow yourself to be transparent, how can you honestly understand what's going on and what impacts your life? You ever thought about that? I'll do one better. If you don't understand the dialogue of what makes you you, how are you going to understand your purpose? I'll do one better. How are you going to understand where you're going? Now, I understand that we live in a world where 80% of it is illusion and perception. But if that perception doesn't make you happy, shouldn't it be your responsibility to ensure that it is? You ever thought about that? I know there's some people say, well, Gerald, listen, from the outside, I got it going on. But in the inside, I feel void. There's a piece of me that I haven't been able to fulfill, and I've been ripping and running trying to find what that is. Let me tell you something. Slow down. As long as you keep running to and fro, you know what's going to happen? You're going to put a lot of mileage on your vehicle. You're going to spend a lot of money unnecessarily. And you're going to rob yourself or delay yourself of your dreams. Now listen, I know some of y'all feel a certain kind of way when I bring up spirituality, but I got to be transparent. You got to understand that before you came and was in physical form. You spirit first. You signed on to certain experiences for those to be the building blocks of your prophecy. So the payoff is for you to have a good life. Now, I have to be honest with you. Not everybody's going to earn the right to know your story. And do you realize how precious your life is right now? Do you? You're not going to find that in the blogs. I'm not throwing shade on the blogs. But even if you look at the tone of the blogs, yes, they're beautiful distractions if you allow yourself to invest in them. But at the end of the day, it's about a payoff to those people. They don't care. They live in their life. They're putting out their propaganda, just hoping that you will catch the hook, fall in line, and take one more step away from yourself. Now, I know I'm feeling this right now. Somebody's saying this right now. Gerald, you look crazy. You looking crazy. Your hair, look at your hair. Look at my beautiful hair. It's my crown. You know why I grew my hair? Just like I did it 6 years ago. Because there was somebody that convinced themselves that, you know what, my crown will never grow because I allowed myself to invest in social standards instead of looking at the mirror and seeing how beautiful I was. Guess what? You got angels around you. God is still up there. And he's still waiting for you to claim you. But this hair right here, I'm doing this as a living testament that you can grow your crown back once you decide to grow inside you. That means you got to cut the drama out, King. I know that might be your stick, man. Y'all go way back like 2 Cadillac tires. But if they're not growing, where they going? If they're not supporting the best you, why are they in your life? Or better yet, why are you there? So let's talk about that from a financial standpoint, because it seems like everybody wants to be like E.F. Hutton. When E.F. Hutton used to talk, the catchphrase was, when E.F. Hutton talked, everybody listened. But you know what? E.F. Hutton died a wealthy man. You know why? Because E.F. Hutton listened to himself. So when you going to listen to you? When you going to decide to say, you know what, enough's enough. I love you. I do love you. But I got to love you from afar. Because some of y'all dealing with some toxic environments. And you know why y'all dealing with toxic environments right now? It's not by default. It's about your mentality. So is there a storm going on inside you? A tempest? And it just ebbs and flows? And you're at the point you said, well, you know what? This is the best I'm going to be. And this is who I am. And you got to accept it. But deep down inside, you living a lie because you know you deserve better. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? You want to be a wealthy person? You can't be a wealthy person until you decide to invest in you. You know that little boy? How about that little girl? The one that had big eyes to the world, that was a dreamer. That's still you. But you allow your financial setting to dictate how you're going to move around. Now, I'm saying this for a reason. Because there are some people that think, well, you know what, Gerald, I'm in a hard spot. I'm in a hard spot right now. I can't do what I really want to do. The reason why you can't do what you want to do is because you ain't claimed it yet. You playing around. What I'm trying to say is you got options. You always had options. But you can't claim them options until you decide to claim you. You sitting over there pining over your ex. Ooh, I'm talking about the ex. Why are you pining over the ex? Now, here's the beautiful thing about exes. You know why they're exes? Because at the moment that you decided to part ways, for whatever reason, they did not have what was needed to go forward. And spiritually, there was a block. And no matter how witty you were, you couldn't go forward. It actually got worse now, didn't it? And the more that you tried to put yourself around that person, there were little nuances or synchronicities. Maybe your money got funny real quick. Who am I talking to? Or there was always some type of setback. Why? It's because that person is not supposed to be in the chapter of your life. Why? Because they got work they got to do. You can't make someone do what they don't want to do. You have to respect the choice of where they are right now. But if they don't represent what you feel inside, you can't go forward. You become stagnant. And what happens out of that? Pain, denial, deflection. Now, I know a lot of y'all are feeling this way because you're looking at things from a government standpoint. You don't know if we're coming and going, right? Now listen, for those who place the Most High first in everything that you do, you do understand the whole reason things are playing out. It is to filter out those who should not be standing in that line. You remember, the Most High said, when it's time for judgment, you must come correct because it's about that book, the book of life. And you don't want to be that person that he turns his back proverbially on and say, I know you not. So guess what? Those people that are doing what they need to do, this is all about suffrage, family. Everything. So why you seeing people saying, I'm winning, I'm winning? Those are the people that are taking the biggest L's that you could ever imagine. Because see, you don't have the ability to look behind closed doors. You don't see the concessions that are being made. You don't understand the pain and the turmoil that is required for them to put that mask on. And there's a lot of people putting masks on now because they think that what's going on now is going to be the end all be all. And I'm here to tell you that's not. Everything that's going on is illusion. And here's the validation of it. Remember when I said, when the earth shakes, the fool will acknowledge that God exists? What has the world been doing? Come on. We got some smart people. You can't deny fact. Look at the weather. And I know some people are on this conspiracy thing from chemtrails and let's call it what it is. Even Prince said it before his untimely pass. But why is it that whenever there's a chemtrail, the crime rate goes up? And haven't you noticed anything that should be protected is at risk? Notice we don't hear nothing about Flint no more. And the reason why we don't hear about Flint no more is very simple. Flint more or less represented what has always been nationally. Think about it. That's nothing but a byproduct of lead pipes, because that's what they used. So think about New York. Think about every major city that followed the prototype of how you run pipes. You realize how much money that would have to be spent to repair all that, and you're wondering why we got sinkholes. Y'all saw that story about that sinkhole and that teenager, didn't you? I know you did. I know you did. That's not by chance. But the intended heart, the intended mind, you take note of that. Now, let me segue this. This summer should be all about your rejuvenation, whatever it is. If you want to go back to school, go back to school. If you want to get in the gym, get back in the gym. If you just want to invest in you, when's the last time you took yourself out on a date? And I know some people say, what do you mean by take yourself out on a date? When's the last time you actually did something you wanted to do by yourself? We've gotten so conditioned that we got to walk 2 by 2 with everybody, because the reason why we do it is we got to have validation instead of being ourselves. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? Not taking note that maybe the people that are in your circle are going for the ride. You ever thought about that? That's why they're not progressing. And the only time they progress is when you take a first step. Who am I talking to? I'm just saying. If you want to look at it mathematically, 4 seasons in a calendar year. That's 4 months. So whenever you decide to invest, give it 8 months, you'll see your return. Maybe this is the moment you say, well, you know what? My money's been funny. My finances ain't been right. And I need to figure out a wedding that I can be more strategic. Well, you want to be strategic? Cut the impulses out of your life. Because you'll come to realize that those impulses, 95% of the time, is fear-based. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. You're doing it because you think that will complete you or give you a temporary joy. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? I'm putting this out because you need to hear this. And the reality is your friends ain't telling you this. Why? Because your friends like you in the position that you're in. And they think that you ain't going to change. And they think that time is on their side. That's like a wealthy person hanging out with a homeless person. Can that be done? Yeah. But the only thing that can be shared with that is wisdom. But it's up for that person that's in that position to receive it. That's why you're seeing so many people panhandle these days in a town near you, in a city near you, because they know that's the new hustle. They know that's the new hustle. Oh, you mean all I gotta do is sit out here and play on your heartstrings, and I can turn around for 8 hours, make more than you make in a month? And they doing it. You don't believe me? Next time you see a panhandler out there, he or she's perched out there, take a look at their shoes. Look at what they're wearing. Does it look like they've been sitting out there for a minute? I'm not talking about for the day, because even the panhandlers nowadays, they pull in shifts. It's a crew. I know some of these panhandlers are going to be mad. But I'm sharing this for a reason, because I remember a time when I was 21, living in DC, growing up in DC, and I used to work for Foot Locker. And every day I'd catch the same bus to the store where I worked at. At that time, I worked at Georgetown, worked in Georgetown, not too far from Georgetown University. I used to see this brother all the time. I used to see this brother. And if I had some change, I'd give it to him. Because big heart. Actually, to be pinpointed even more, I used to catch the stop that was actually 2 blocks from the National Zoo. And they'd be perched out there. But I would see this brother all the time. And it was right before I decided that I was done with retail. And I always knew that if I wanted to go into change my life for 4 years guaranteed, I'd go to the military. And I decided to join the Air Force. I joined the Air Force late. I joined the Air Force, I was 22, getting ready to turn 23. And I worked that job because I was committed to the job. Almost to the last day before I was about to leave out to go to basic. And we would have little conversations along the time. And I remember the last day I worked at Foot Locker. And I think I had like $5 in my pocket. Because back then I rented, I rented a room. I was very independent. Growing up in the city, it's all about that dollar and stretching. I didn't have a car. And I remember in conversation talking to him, and I got into that point where I was getting ready to leave. And I think I had like $10 in my pocket. And he was there the whole day. When I left out, when I came, there he was. So we can say at least for 8 hours, he was there. And right the day before I was about to leave, I had $10 in my pocket, and I gave it to him. Put it in his cup. And he turned around, dug into that cup, and gave me that $10 back. And I was shocked. And I'm like, well, you need this more than I do. And I'm telling you what he told me. He said, listen. He's like, listen, young blood. You've been always generous to me. But I have a secret. And I'm like, huh? Truth be told, I live in Virginia. But I come here because of the tourists. I have a big house, and I have a Corvette. And all I do is sit out here. And I was hurt, but I was more shocked. But I appreciated it because he said that, hey, there are going to be people that are going to wear their hearts on their sleeve. Because they see somebody down on their luck, and they think that is more or less clearing karma for them. But really, they're not. Oh, I felt a certain kind of way. So, fast forward 25 years. We're in the millennial generation. And y'all know, I love y'all millennials, but y'all all about the end result. It's not about the journey. You want to make sure that you get there and you are very expedient with it. And that's because you're very intelligent. Your generation is the most intelligent generation ever. But when it comes to investment of self, you can't relate. I know somebody know what I'm talking about. You work with a millennial, like you give them a task, it's A and B, not Z. And that's where we are now. So you see more people that are about excuses, not about application. Why? Because that's the world that we're in. And that for those who are in the top 1%, they like that because they think that that's what's going to control you, because they believe that if you don't invest in yourself or you don't have a core, you are easily manipulated. So look at society now. Look at how much social media has an impact. I know I'm talking to somebody. You spend more time on your phone than you do spend time with yourself. Why? Because you've been conditioned to think that way. But that's okay. That's okay. I wish I could look at the chat right now, but I can't from my phone because it won't let me do it. But like I said, I'm gonna, after this is done, if you got a question, concern, comment, I will graciously respond back to you. However, if you're not part of my channel, please subscribe. That's the only way I'm gonna be able to respond back to you. You know, that's how YouTube does. Now, somebody asked me about my future plans, and I think I need to tell y'all that the end goal is I will have a website, because I have over 800 plus videos out here that are mine, and I'm gonna shift it over, and I hope that you guys transition just like I have a health and fitness channel. Some of y'all might not know that. It's called Journey of a Man, which I'm referring to myself, where I'm at the point now that, I know y'all see that, right? I know y'all see that back there, because I've been flirting with the idea of actually getting into jiu-jitsu. But the one thing I definitely want to do is, or have been doing, is see, I'm all about my smoothies too. And see, a lot of people y'all don't know is I like to cook. Yes, Gerald likes to cook. Oh yeah, I can cook. My cooking's on point. And I got recipes that I would love to share. And you might have recipes that you might want to share, and I would love to try them out. So that's going on Journey of a Man. But before I lose train of thought, I want to get back to this crown of mine. Because some of y'all believe that you can't grow your hair back. You think that because your edges is thin, that's the end all be all. You know why your edges are thin? It's because internally you are stressing. And you will not let go of what is the stress. You might be in a situation where you think that this is the end all be all. Listen here, king, queen, cut that drama out your life. If the environment does not put a smile on your face, that is the environment that you're not supposed to be in. Did you hear me? It's okay. Because I know some of y'all saying, well, Gerald, listen, I'm in a situation where I'm in a relationship where I have children and I want to preserve a certain image for them, but at what price? Are you happy? Because if you ain't happy, you're not example, you're not showing the example of being happy. Because guess what? Children these days are intelligent. They watch, they observe, and they respond based off of what your actions are. Who am I talking to? Now, I can't wait till I get to my laptop because I know the chat is on. I know the chat is going right now, but I'm reaching out to you on my phone, and it's hot as hell in this garage. It is. I ain't gonna open this garage door because the mosquitoes will eat me up. Look here, y'all. Look at that. Ain't a warm. You can't see. Well, yeah, you can. Right there. Look at that. Mosquitoes. But I was out in the yard. You guys would be proud if you saw my yard. I'm at the point now that I can actually put a golf ball across. That means, yeah, my grass is tight. And you know how it is when for those who are homeowners. Everybody they don't say nothing, but they be checking for your yard. Look at it. Nah. Nah. It ain't even like that. But on a different note, don't let the foolishness that is being put out in the media. Make sure that you critically think. And if anything, ask yourself this. I'm back. Either I'm being too wing or somebody don't like what I'm saying. But that's okay. So as I was saying, I'm gonna bring this home. Listen, don't let your outer environment have an influence on your inner environment. You hear me? Stay the course. Stay committed to yourself. But first and foremost, love you. You hear me? Love you. I know there's some people that are saying, well, Gerald, listen, I hear what you're saying, but I'm tired of coming home. On the outside, I got it going on, but inside, I feel neglected. I feel that nobody gets me. If they don't get you, they're not supposed to be with you. But as long as you understand you, the right people will honor you. Did you hear what I'm saying? Listen, I know some of y'all going through this BS right now. What a town near you, and a city near you, and a state near you. And it seems like it's just getting negative every time you turn around. Every time you turn around, Ray didn't gotten shot. And the reason for that is you got people that have access to firearms and they ain't ready for it. Now keep in mind, the firearms is just a tool, no different than a cell phone. And guess what? You'll never see a million man or million woman mortician march. You ain't gonna see that because they making money hand over fist of your ignorance. They staying employed, just like the people that do organ harvesting. You don't hear them complaining. You keeping them in business. No different like the barber or the salon person. They need you. They need you. But do you need you? Are you going to love yourself, or are you going to let another summer come by, come and go, and you're saying coulda, woulda, shoulda? But here's the kicker. Don't allow this summer to be squandered because you're waiting on somebody to add accents to it. The right person will come at the right time. Did you hear what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. Now, in about 3 weeks, yes, sir, it's time to dread it up. And see what you can't see. Yeah, you see that? I deliberately waited. Now tell me again why you can't allow that beautiful crown to flourish. Why are you hiding it? You got a loyalty to the beauty supply store and the number 5 because it's easy to put it on. Now imagine if that was your heart. Would you allow someone to cover your heart? When you decide to invest in your heart, guess what happens? The right person will come along and be equipped to protect it. And they will also show you something different, show you something new. But see, I understand it. We live in a get it in environment where it's all about the one night stand. Let me tell you something. You can't build a legacy off a one night stand. It robs you of that. Listen here, Queen. Think about the money you didn't spend. Think about all the fads that have come and gone that you've allowed yourself to get swayed in. Well, I gotta have a bigger ass. I gotta have supple breasts. I gotta look a certain way. To the point that some of y'all said, well, you know what? My melanin. Maybe if I was a little lighter, I'd get the attention. You want the attention that you rightfully deserve? Love yourself. Love yourself. Because you don't even realize you're perfect already. You're beautiful. I know somebody's saying, Gerald, you saying that, but I'm 350 pounds. I'm 350 pounds. Ain't nobody gonna want nothing to do with me. When you take that pain out your heart, you'd be surprised how much joy is ready to be received. Maybe that's the reason why your temperament is like this. Nobody can love somebody that won't love themselves. And don't you deserve to be loved? I'm just saying. Now, I'm bringing this to a close because I'm sweating like a sauna out here. For those who are water sign, because it's been a minute since I put a water sign video out. I'm gonna put that video out tomorrow. I'm gonna go live, and that way, if you got questions, concerns, we can interact. Because you deserve it. Why? Because you're priceless. God's praying for you. You know who I am. And for that, I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Now, you're going to go to bed with a frown, a scowl, bitterness in your heart, and you wonder why the one can't get to you. Remove that so you can get what you rightfully deserve, because you're blessed. Peace.